What is up, YouTube? Today we have a very highly requested video for you guys. We are going to be installing a Remnant Performance turbo kit on a Genesis Coupe 3.8. The way how I thought about doing this video was doing an unboxing on everything that comes inside this box right here that they send out to you from Remnant Performance. Pretty much all the equipment that comes inside this box, just go through it and then pretty much have you guys like separate it. That way you guys can be organized when doing this install, because it can be frustrating pretty quickly. So I feel like being more organized from the beginning is always a better idea to do before starting this project. Also, before we start, I want to mention to you guys that I truly appreciate you guys for watching these videos, liking them, asking me questions, and buying merchandise and whatnot from me. So I really do appreciate you guys. In case you guys noticed as well, I am monetized now on YouTube, so I do have the Google AdSense activated. And with that AdSense, I was finally able to get my GoPro, the thing that I've been wanting for the longest time. I finally got it. So I'm very happy that I'm able to get this now, because now I'm able to get you guys better quality content now. With this in my possession, pretty much, I'm able to pretty much record everything that I do by hand, which is what I really wanted to show you guys, because I know I just point at stuff and tell you guys how to remove it. And I really wanted to be able to show you guys how I remove it, if that makes any sense. But I really do love you guys. You guys are awesome. Please keep supporting my channel, and I will eventually, hopefully, be able to give back to my community. Now that I think about it, I might be raffling off like some H pipes or like test pipes, down pipes, whatever I have in stock over here. Maybe some gauges too, stuffed turbos, whatever the case may be, or maybe even a turbo kit. Who knows? But eventually I do want to be able to get back to my subscribers. So please keep liking the videos, guys, and subscribing to the channel. It helps me out tremendously. All right, guys, so let's talk about pretty much what isn't included in this kit before we get started with what's in the kit. I feel like that's more important, because there are times when people get the kit and there are some stuff that doesn't come inside the kit that you need to add on when you're checking out on this website. For example, let's start off with this AC line. So you're gonna need this AC line from, I guess that's the part number right there. But you're gonna need a new AC line. The reason being is because the intercooler piping will touch the OEM AC line and it gets in the way, so you wouldn't be able to pretty much use the intercooler piping. So you need to get a shorter line, either from the website or buy it yourself, and install this AC line. It does not come with the kit. And secondly, guys, you are going to need gauges, of course. So you are boosting now, so you're going to need a boost gauge. For custom tuning, you're going to need an AFR gauge, and my third gauge recommendation is always going to be oil temperature or oil pressure. Those two are really good gauges that help you monitor the engine oil pretty much on what's going on, either temperature wise or pressure wise. I want to say there is a add-on gauge option as well on the website. I don't remember exactly. I usually use Amazon or Evo Pro Sport gauges. They're pretty cheap and they do the job really well. I like them actually more than the AEM gauges. These are always my go-to. If you have the extra bit of funds, definitely get VLS or Tanabe gauges. Those are my absolute favorite gauges to use. And lastly, guys, I do want to mention that not all aftermarket headers are going to work for this turbo kit. So the only headers that are going to work for this turbo kit are OEM stock ones, like these right here, BQ1 or BQ2. There are NGM headers. Those also work with this turbo kit, which I do sell. I don't have them in stock right now, but I should be getting some soon eventually. Also, there are the turbokits.com headers, and of course the Remnant Performance Kit headers as well. So those four headers will fit this turbo kit. Every other header like OBX, J2, ARC, those headers do not fit this turbo kit. So I want to add two more things to that, actually, now that I think about it. If you guys have a manifold riser or spacer of any sort that's on either the intake manifold or on the throttle body, those will have to be removed, okay? This turbo kit does not work with those items. The reason being is because this piping is specifically made to fit OEM setups. So you're not able to use anything that's gonna protrude out the throttle body or bring up the manifold. That's gonna pretty much have this intercooler kit offset from what the actual manifold or the throttle body will reach. When installing this kit on other customers' cars, I've noticed that not every single exhaust system will fit this Y pipe right here. So keep in mind that you might have to get your downpipes pretty much extended a little bit to fit this Y pipe. All right, so let's dive into this box real quick. Obviously, there's nothing in here because I have everything just scattered out already. I had to double check everything for my customer. There are going to be 2 boxes in here. They're going to be this box and then this big box. This big box is going to have all your intercooler piping and exhaust parts, as you can see right here. All that piping is going to be in that smaller big box in there. And then this box, of course, has your turbo. So you're going to get a turbo blanket. And whatever turbo you decide to go with, my customer went with the 70 Omega with the T51R mod. If you guys don't know what that is, look up some YouTube videos on that. It's a pretty cool mod that makes the turbo sound louder and spool up, not spool up quicker, but it pretty much like makes a spooling effect noise way louder and noticeable. So it's really cool. Personally, I don't like it. It's just an extra 300 bucks just to make a turbo sound cooler. I'd rather spend that 300 bucks on something else like, you know, like gauges or whatever the case may be. But if you're all about, you know, wanting to sound really cool or having everyone just admire the turbo kit, definitely get the T51R mod. It's definitely a attention seeker for sure. So this turbo does come with some fittings on here as well. Just put that down. Let's cover this guy up and we're gonna put this to the side. So I guess the next thing we can look at is all the exhaust parts. As you can see, they are more shinier, and then those are pretty much aluminum over here. So that's how you can tell how they're separate. This is gonna be for your dump. This is your U-pipe right here, this guy. That's going to be for your turbo, and this is going to be your exhaust outlet for the white pipe to go into the exhaust. Over here too, you do have this little adapter for the turbo as well, I believe. And that's pretty much it for this part. Keep in mind that all the couplers and stuff like that, the V-band clamps and all that's going to be in pretty much at the bottom of the box. So what I like to do pretty much is, I'll go through it right now, but what I like to do is separate all my couplers, all my V-bands, all my clamps, anything hose related, keep it all in one separate pile. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So like all of this is pretty much separated, like all my clamps are over here and my couplers are over here, my turbo set aside by itself. So that's what I mean by being organized, because there are times where I've actually lost a clamp before, for example, and it was an important clamp because it was for the last piece of my intercooler piping, so I had to go out and go buy another clamp. So keep all your stuff separate, okay, organized. What I just did right now was I got my heat shielding, heat wrap, and some more, this looks like wire loom shielding. So this wire loom shielding is important for some of the wires that's gonna be next to the turbo. So keep all your heat resistant equipment in one area as well. All your hoses are gonna go to constant vacuum sources and reinforce like some power steering lines and whatnot, because there are going to be a few things that you're going to be moving around from their stock location. For example, the washer fluid, power steering hoses sometimes. Just a lot of stuff is going to get relocated when doing this kit. So I guess the next thing we can cover is the intercooler piping. So the intercooler piping is, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's all these pieces are different, just like the exhaust pieces. But the intercooler over here comes inside this rectangle box, so be careful when you're removing it out of that big box right here. So in the time of the install video, whenever it comes around, I'll go ahead and go through what part goes where, of course, and how to mount this intercooler, because you are going to be needing a special drill bit that comes inside the kit. So you're pretty much going to be needing this drill bit that comes inside the kit to drill out some holes on the OEM bash bar to mount the intercooler. And of course, you're going to be using some self tappers that also come inside this kit that's inside this bag right here. In this equipment bag, there's a bunch of stuff in it as well. There's some Loctite, Permatex gasket sealers, some tape, some more hardware, some zip ties, and some metal zip ties. These metal zip ties are going to be for your exhaust parts to do the heat wrap on some of these parts, because you are going to need to heat wrap some of these, okay? Especially the headers. I'm not sure if the customer wants to do the headers still because we're using stock ones. But I do know that on these parts over here, you are going to need the heat wrap for the cross pipe right here and for this pipe as well. So definitely want to preserve these metal tie wraps, because they are going to be extremely helpful when it comes to putting on the heat wrap on these exhaust parts. All right, so let's go over here real quick. And these lines right here, these longer AN lines right here, these two are going to go to your oil cooler kit. So put them right here. And then this white box is your actual oil cooler. It's going to be, I want to say, a 19 row. Also, that comes with that, you're pretty much going to want to take this guy right here, put this with the oil cooler kit, because that's the adapter plate. And then you want to grab this guy, and this is pretty much the sandwich plate for the adapter plate. the filter that also goes with it. And somewhere around here, there it is. These are going to be the gaskets for this kit. So as you can see right here, there are some rubber gaskets to go around it. You're going to need these gaskets right there to put them in here. So keep all that in one area. Also, there's this dude. And that's pretty much it for the oil cooler kit and what's going to be needed for that portion of the video. All right, so for these other boxes that we have here, we'll go through them real quick pretty much. So this first one's going to have just a catch can in it. Very simple, put that to the side. It's going to have the hoses and everything also with it. Right here, we're going to have our blow-off valve. It's pretty cool though how they have the blow-off valve and the wastegate, how they both have the Remnant Performance logo on top. It's pretty cool. That blow-off valve comes with this spring. I want to say there's a spring in here already, but we'll double check and take it off before we install it. And yeah, so there's that. Put this guy to the side. In this big rectangle white box, we have just the filter for the turbo. Over here, this is going to be the wastegate for the turbo kit. So again, it has the Remnant Performance logo on top, pretty nice. It does come with the springs as well, 2 springs. I want to say there's a spring in here already. I think it's a 6 or 7 PSI spring. So you don't really need these unless you want to push more boost. I do wish that these springs were color coded though, because on other springs, you usually have a paint indicator on the bottom or on the top, or actually the whole spring will be painted. That color indication tells you what pressure spring it is. So for example, this could be like a 5 and this could be like a 12, and you can put them together and you can make a 17 PSI spring. Or you could put the 6-pound spring with the 12-pound spring, make 18 PSI for the spring. Really can't tell what springs these are without the color coding. So I kind of wish it did have a color code, but it's okay though. We're not going to be pushing too much boost. We're just going to use the stock 6-pound spring that's inside this wastegate already. This kit also includes some coder spark plugs, which you're definitely going to need, and I'll show you guys how to get out those later. This bracket, this is actually for a relocation of your fuse box. That fuse box on the passenger side is going to get relocated, and this is the bracket that you're going to need to relocate that fuse box. Inside this little rectangle small box is a vacuum brick. What a vacuum brick allows you to do is pull in pretty much vacuum from a source on the intake manifold, which is going to be on this inlet port right here. It allows you to pretty much distribute it through these smaller ports. For example, one could be used for wastegate, one could be used for blow-off valve, one could be used for boost reference, a wide variety of things. Pretty much everything that's needed to mount this guy up and the other fittings for it are inside this box. Keep all that together. In this small little black box, we also have some more turbo fittings. So these turbo fittings are going to be very, very important when it comes to installing the turbo. All right, guys, so these parts right here were pretty much just wrapped up in a bunch of bubble wrap and styrofoam. So this first piece right here, just so you can get a good look at it, this is pretty much going to be the mounting bracket for your power steering reservoir relocation. This is pretty much that piece for it. And then these 2 pieces, I don't remember exactly, but I want to say this is for the oil cooler kit, so it can be mounted on the front by the crash bar. So I want to say these 3 pieces are for that. I could be wrong. When we get later into the video, we'll probably know more exactly where they go. Just the top of my head right now, I can't remember where they go. All right, guys, and then now we have this guy to talk about. So in the kit, the harness is actually way on the other side of the box to where this is at, but they should probably be in the same box. But this is pretty much an extension harness for your OEM washer fluid pigtails. All it is just an extension harness for it. So you can connect the pump with this and extend the harness all the way up, because this is going to be towards the end of the engine where it's going to be relocated at for the washer fluid, okay? So these 2 parts, they stay together. And the last thing that we get in this kit is a map sensor. So this map sensor allows you to pretty much read boost for tuning purposes. So don't lose this. It's very, very important. If you don't have this, you can't tune the car. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for what's going to be included in the Remnant Performance Turbo Kit box. So the next video that I'm going to be doing, of course, is pretty much starting to install the kit, of course. And the first thing we're going to have to do is pretty much take off the aftermarket headers that he has on his car, because my customer does have J2 headers on his car, so those don't work with this kit. Removing those stock headers first, and after that put some stock ones on, and then we'll start putting on the exhaust parts. Hope you guys like this video on pretty much the box breakdown of what comes in the kit. Subscribe to the channel, please. Leave a like down below. And if you have any questions about the kit, please drop a comment or PM me on Instagram at prodigy_performance. Thank you guys. See you guys next time.